so we want to get you caught up with the latest results. I'm sure you heard in the race for LA mayor, a big shift yesterday when the AP called it and said that progressive Nithya Raman will advance to the November general election to face incumbent Karen Bass. Let's throw those numbers up if we could. Bass currently out front, as she has been, with 92% of those precincts reporting, with 34% to Raman, 29% to Pratt at 26%. Now, when the AP called it yesterday, they did so noting that on Sunday, when Raman overtook Pratt, she was about 3,100 votes ahead of Pratt. She expanded that to close to 22,000 after yesterday's ballot drop. That happens every day between 4 to 5. So we'll see what that looks like today. Nonetheless, AP saying that Raman and Bass will face off in the November general election. Let's get you to the governor's race now. Latest numbers show Becerra still out front, with 27.7%, almost 28%, 83% of precincts reporting. Steve Hilton, Republican, who was sitting right next to me, 25% of the vote. Tom Steyer down there at number third, 22% of the vote. All right, let's get to our conversation with Mr. Hilton now. Good to have you. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, you saw everything go down, right, what it takes to go live just like that as we kick off this noon hour. Let me just get your thoughts on the current state of the governor's race and your standing. Because I saw on your social media last night, you were going to pop the bubbly just yet.
Exactly.
But you did pop up in a beer.
Well, what we're seeing is, it's taking a while. We can get into that in a second.
Sure.
There have been some organizations that have called the race for me, saying that I'm now confirmed to be in the top two. But we always said we'd go with the old-fashioned view, which is, as you just mentioned, the AP. That's traditionally
the Associated
Press is
right.
Traditionally the moment when the race is officially called, and so we're going to wait for that. But we're very confident now that I'll be in the top two. I don't think there's any serious observer of California, the data nerds who look at the
right.
numbers, and they've been posting every single day, pretty much since the beginning. Actually, it's now a week since election night. And they've been saying that the lead that we have over Tom Steyer just seems very difficult for him to overcome. That's actually been the case for the last few days, and it's got to the point where no one believes it's possible. However, we're going to wait to declare victory until the AP calls it.
Okay, well, the difference is about 200,000 votes.
Yes.
If you confirm that, right?
About that, exactly.
Yeah, about 200,000 votes.
And that was, for most of the last, it's been going down. I mean, the number's been changing. Been around 300,000 for a few days. The numbers that came in yesterday for Tom Steyer that took it down to about 200,000 were from areas where you would expect him to do well. The Bay Area, for example. There's still a bunch of votes out there from places where he wouldn't be expected to do so well. So that margin might actually go back in our favor.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say that you advance to the November general election, which all signs point to, yes, you will advance to the November general election. You know this just as well as anybody else, that California is such a blue state. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to get those Tom Steyer votes? And there are almost 1.8 million of them. Mm-hmm. How are you going to get them to vote for you?
Yeah. Look, it is a blue state. I've been under no illusions with anyone, my supporters and everyone else. It's going to be difficult. But the number to set against that is 57%. That's the proportion in the latest poll that we saw who want change in California, who believe that the state's going in the wrong direction and needs change. In other words, there's a majority of Californians think we need change. And so this choice that we're now going to see, myself or Javier Becerra, it's actually a really clear choice, because Javier Becerra really represents the status quo in California almost better than anyone. He's been part of the Democrat machine here for 36 years. The other night on an interview, he was asked if there was anything he would change in terms of the policy direction. He said no. He just wants to do things better in a vague way, but he didn't offer any new direction. And so I think actually, once we get into the campaign and we put that choice before people, here we can go in the direction of continuing to spend more and tax more, or actually reduce the spending, cut your taxes. My plan, your first 100 grand tax-free, reduce gas prices by having a more common sense energy policy, and so on. You go through the issues and say, well, if you're happy with the way things are going, Javier Becerra is your guy. If you think we need change, vote for me.
Why do you think your message is resonating?
Because it's very practical. If you think about, and that debate where we first met feels like a long time ago.
That was in early February.
The very first TV debate. I remember that night. When I was asked, "Well, how are you going to?" Probably the first question, the affordability crisis. What are you going to do? I'm very specific with my plans. We've been working on it for a long time. Your first $100,000 tax-free. $3 gas, vehicle registration, cap it at the basic registration rate of $71 per vehicle per year. Get rid of the $800 a year small business registration fee. A lot of small businesses, I'm a small business owner, that really grates with people who run a business. You've got to pay $800 to the government just for existing, even if we don't make any money. These are the kind of practical things that I think can get support beyond just a partisan base, and they're just common sense things everyone can support.
Well, you have to get the support of the Democratic machine that is the state legislature too. So your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I think that first of all, my attitude will be to be open and work in a spirit of cooperation. I've actually got a track record of doing that. Before we moved here from the UK in 2012, I was senior advisor to the Prime Minister in the UK government. He was a Conservative Prime Minister, David Cameron, but it was a coalition government, two parties working together. I actually shared an office in 10 Downing Street, right next to the cabinet room, with my opposite number in another party. Every day, literally, we would work together to try and come to an agreement about things we could do. And here, of course, it's not the same, the UK 20 years ago to California today. But I'll give you an example. Katie Porter, in their governor's race, she's obviously hasn't made it through, but she agreed. She actually adopted my tax plan. She said, I agree with what Steve's saying about this. Let's cut taxes, state income tax. Let's lift out people who are working really hard, are not earning a huge amount of money. Why should they be paying state income tax? That's something that she agreed with. And to me, that's an indication that actually we should be able to find points of agreement with, even with a Democrat supermajority.
Well, you were calling for some bipartisanship with Javier Becerra today, if I'm not mistaken, at a campaign event that you were at early this morning in Norwalk.
Yes.
Right? And this is all about voter ID. It's a Republican initiative that is on the Republican-backed initiative that made it to the November ballot.
Yeah.
And you were saying we can all agree that voter ID should be required.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, a lot of people don't agree with that.
Well, it's a majority in favor. So I'm always looking for points where we can, get as far as we can in this divided world of ours, some consensus. Voter ID is a pretty big number, 70% or so in the polls support voter ID. The reason I was talking about it today is that actually we're looking at these counts, and to be honest, LA is not too bad now, 92%. I mean, it's a week on. Some of the counties are down in the 50s in terms of percentage of vote counted. One of the reasons it's so slow is because you've got to go through this signature verification process.
Yeah, that's the curing process.
Exactly. And then you've got the counties who are doing the counts. They don't have enough resources. Actually, last week I proposed surging resources and people so we could help the counties count quicker. But if you have voter ID, you don't need any of that. You don't need the signature. You're not going to be signing envelopes and having people compare signatures. So it's a really practical way of speeding things up. It does have majority support. So I said to Javier Becerra, okay, we're not going to agree on very much, but will you campaign with me in favor of voter ID? And at least let's show Californians a united front on that issue.
Have you heard back? No. I know that. Yeah, I know you just put the call out a few hours ago.
Just put the call out. So I don't know. I mean, look, I think it's, if we can find things like that where we agree, I think that really helps take the heat out of a lot of our politics, which has got very, angry in a lot of ways. And I think this is a good example.
Angry, and the F word has been thrown out there a lot, as in fraud.
Okay.
So let me ask you, do you see this as fraud or a flawed system?
Nice. Yeah, I definitely flawed. Look, the way I've been thinking about it is that obviously there's a lot of people who've invested their hopes and their money, and we've had, we've built from nothing an army of small donors to my campaign, and we wanted to make sure that we don't let them down. And so from the beginning, from last week, we were really on it in terms of the counts and making sure we're vigilant and there's nothing going wrong. We've had people standing by. We've had lawyers standing by. We've seen.
You're talking
nothing.
about at the LA County Register?
No, the whole state.
Through the whole state.
We've been we're in touch with everything that's going on in our campaign, and we've seen nothing that gives us concern from that point of view that needs any kind of intervention. And then the other point to that, in a way a bigger point, is that the US Attorney, Bill Asaley, he's on top of it as well. And he's got the resources of the whole Justice Department, not just a campaign like ours. So actually, I don't think that there's anything of that nature that should give people concern. But it is flawed. And one of the things that I think is we really need to look at is this whole idea of ballot harvesting, which I think to most people just seems wrong. The idea that you, instead of one person, one vote, you've got the ability for people or organizations to just gather up hundreds, sometimes thousands of votes and just dump them into the system. That doesn't feel what we mean with, an election.
Right, with the democratic process.
It just doesn't feel right. And so it's this combination of all mail-in voting.
But it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's the system. And I think that the other point that I would make is that one of the things that we've been exposing during the course of the campaign is how the machine that's been built over the years through activist groups and the unions, this is what they do. And it's not illegal, but it doesn't feel, it's flawed. I think that's a really good word to describe it.
Let me ask you your thoughts on President Trump and his True Social post that he's put out there with the Democrats, and it's 100% rigged. And this, of course, is what led to Asaley saying we're going to look into these, we're going to investigate.
Yes.
But Asaley was out there yesterday with one of our reporters, Matthew Seedorf, and said that there's no evidence of it, but we're going to look.
I think that's the right attitude. I think it's important to be vigilant. I think it's appropriate to raise concerns and then make sure they're investigated. So that seems to be that side of the process working as it should.
But President Trump endorsed you.
Yeah.
And when he's out there and he's making these allegations, do you think it's helpful to the democratic process?
Well, if it means that we get more energy towards reform, yeah, because I think that what we've got going on in California isn't right. I mean, it's just crazy that we've got a system that gives the opportunity for people to just ask questions. What's going on? Why does it take so long? How do we get these, dumps of ballots and the results change in this way? Now, you could, on each single one of those things, you could look into it and say, well, actually, that's the process working as it was designed to work. But the process is not good when it creates so much undermining of confidence in our elections. That's a really foundational thing. So we've got to change some things here. I think the other point I would make is that this top two system. I mean, look what happened in Los Angeles with Spencer Pratt.
I was going to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think it's a real travesty that clearly this city is not doing well, right? We've got a massive problem with homelessness. There's a sense of decay in the city. I mean, I'm here a lot, and you hear it all over the place, and you see it. Things need to change in Los Angeles. And the fact that you had a campaign for change that got a lot of energy and excitement, and actually all that energy, all those votes, all those hopes are just now not going to be reflected in the choice in November, I think is a real problem, because you've got to have clear choices in elections. That's why I'm so happy that we'll be there in November. If it was a choice between two Democrats, as we're now going to have in LA, I don't think that's a choice at all. And that is a feature of the top two system.
So you think it should be the party primary?
Yes, I think that's right. The whole intent of the top two system was to have more moderate politics. I mean, that is not what's happened in the 15 years or so we've had it.
Well, in the city of Los Angeles itself, there's 4 million people here, and 55% or so Democrats, only 15% are Republicans. So
yes.
Is this just a math? Is this just a math issue when it comes to what we're seeing with Pratt and Rahman?
That's registered Republicans, but I think that actually, if you'd have had a Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt runoff, I think it would have been a very close race. I believe Spencer would have won, because I believe LA knows that change is necessary. And so I think that transcends party registration. It's that sense of, does our democratic process allow the will of the people to move things so that we get change. And obviously we need change in LA, and I don't think that the kind of change that Nithya Raman's talking about is what people mean by that.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where the Pratt vote goes in November.
Well, I mean, I just don't know. I think that if I was here, I live up in the Bay Area, so I don't vote in the LA elections. If I did, I've obviously endorsed Spencer Pratt. I was there on the day that he announced in the Palisades on January the 7th. We both spoke at that They Let Us Burn event. So of course I would have voted for Spencer. And if I'm a voter now in LA, I honestly don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
Because we cannot have more of the same with Karen Bass. Nithya Raman, an ideological extremist as far as I'm concerned, would be even worse. So it's a nightmare choice for people in Los Angeles.
Have you talked to him?
I have not. I mean, not since then. We've been very busy with our own campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And doing our own thing in very different races. But as I said this morning, I think that he got a lot of attention with his brilliant campaigning, social media dominance, that was great. But actually he had some really substantive plans as well, particularly on homelessness, that I fully support. They're very well thought through. And I would be very happy for him, whatever I can do to help make that happen, including working with him or not. It's up. I'm not going to, rush it. But I do think that he had some really important things to say.
So, do you? In other words, would you bring him into your administration?
Oh, of course, for like a shot. My door would be open. But as I say, I don't want to. He's probably reflecting on what happened right now. I can imagine.
Well, I don't. As far as I know, I don't think we've heard from him just yet. He hasn't come out publicly. So, looking forward to that. So, we're about 4 hours away until the next ballot drop. What are you expecting? Are you expecting the champagne to be popped today?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. We think that just looking at the counties that are out there, this could be the day. I don't know. I actually don't know the basis on which the AP makes their decision.
And what does that look like in the 4 o'clock hour? Because as a news person, I'm refreshing the site.
I know, exactly.
Is that you as well?
Basically.
Or your team?
No, that's right. We're going on the same information. We don't get anything separate, so we're doing the same and looking at the updates. As you say, 83% in now statewide. That's pretty high. Some of the counties that are still out. I'll give you an example, Fresno County. That's where I'm leading by 18 or 19 points. So that's a county where we would expect the Tom Steyer margin to decline rather than grow. So we'll see what happens. But as I said at the beginning, we're very confident that we'll make it. Whether it's today or tomorrow, I don't know. I mean, we're planning a very busy campaigning days and weeks starting immediately. I mean, today was an example. So we are wasting no time in making sure we get to a point where Californians really have that choice in November. And it's a real choice. I know people are going to look at this race and say, it's over, Javier Becerra's the next governor. That's not how I see it at all. I think that we've got a very strong argument to make, and it's one that will appeal way beyond just that sort of core Republican group.
Well, that's your message. Change is coming.
That's the plan, exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Of course, great to see you.
Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go on your way?
Well, probably lots, but for now, we've covered a lot of ground.
Good to have
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Thank you.
And our coverage continues here on the Fox Local Stream. Conversation with Mia Hamm. She's next in studio right here next to me. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Fox Local Stream. I'm Marla Tejas here in Los Angeles at Fox 11. Let's talk some soccer. And this is a really important discussion, not just about soccer, too. Ahead of the World Cup, some soccer superstars are using the spotlight to highlight a different topic, that is childhood cancer. U.S. soccer legend Mia Hamm is just one of many promoting the More Than 4 challenge. In doing so, she is supporting Zoe Suter. Zoe is a 19-year-old cancer fighter. Mia and Zoe are here right now to discuss what this social media campaign is all about. Thank you so much for being here, the both of you. Thanks for all that you do for the soccer community and well beyond. I'm going to start with Zoe first and just talk more about what this social media campaign is all about. What inspired this campaign? I said you're a cancer fighter. You're currently battling your 4th diagnosis?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, how did this all come about to take this to social media and raise awareness?
So it started about when I was 15 years old and first got diagnosed. If you're not around cancer or aware of it, you don't really know like how little funding goes towards cancer research. And we didn't know anything until we got into this fight that only 4% of federal funding goes towards childhood cancer. And I was getting, like the treatment I was getting is decades old and it hasn't changed. And there's kids like me that weren't as fortunate for the treatment to work for them, and there's just no other option, and we didn't think that was okay. So we wanted to change something and bring awareness to this issue and hopefully raise more funding for that.
I just want to highlight that. And first and foremost, I'm so sorry for your plight, everything that you've gone through. It's amazing that you have the wherewithal to be here. And then also to use your platform and others to raise such important awareness. So just 4% of federal funding goes to childhood cancer.
Yes.
And so that's what this is all about, is raising awareness. How has soccer helped you achieve this and helped your mental health as you go through this?
Soccer's been a great support and a great foundation for me. I've created family and friends there, and just seeing the community that it builds to share, and it just has a connection between people that they can come together and just create something really special.
All right, Mia.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this amazing young lady
I mean,
next
how
to you?
impressive is Zoe?
Oh, yeah.
She's courageous, strong, but just inspiring, I think, for anyone that meets her and her family. And I'm here to support her. Obviously, the soccer family is very close and tight. And I met Zoe, I think, 3 years ago, and was able to support her in her cancer battle. And then she reached out to be a part of this, and we've been sending out videos to people, challenging them for the More Than 4 challenge. And just to encourage people to take a look at it, but spread the word. I think, you know, sports can unite us, and the fact that Zoe has used her platform and her story to make a difference, not just for herself and her future, but for so many families and patients out there.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty, because you don't have to be a soccer aficionado to take part in this challenge, right? That's the beauty of it. So anybody can do this challenge. So do you want to tell us what the More Than 4 challenge is?
Yeah, of course. The More Than 4 challenge is a challenge for people to connect and get together. So they juggle more than 4. It can be anything, any object. I've seen people do like lacrosse balls, tennis balls, even stuffed animals, or like a roll of toilet paper or something like that. And they do that. They post it on their social media, Instagram, and then they tag 4 people and donate $4 to the Zoe's Goal Foundation. And then it just continues on from there.
And what's the significance of 4?
The significance of 4 is only 4% goes towards childhood cancer research, and that's a very small number, so we need that to change.
Okay, and then you launched it on June 4th.
June 4th, yeah.
And this is your 4th diagnosis.
Yes.
So the 4 is paramount in
Just
this whole
keeps coming,
challenge.
yeah.
Why was it important for you to amplify this challenge on behalf of Zoe?
I think, you know, I didn't get where I am today without the love and support from a lot of people. And like I said, meeting Zoe and her family, they are part of our soccer community. And I want to help in any way that I can. And it's not just me. A lot of my teammates have been involved. Zoe's mom's a teammate of one of my teammates. I played against her when I was younger. So we talk about, you know, if we can lift one person up, and in this particular period, we want to help Zoe and her family. But like I said, so many other families that are facing in difficult times. And I'm just so proud of Zoe, the fact that she stepped forward and in this really kind of fun way, raised awareness, but is also raising funds. So hopefully the work she's doing is going to impact her life, but someone that has never met Zoe, she could help, you know, cure their type of cancer.
Zoe, what's it like to have someone like Mia Hamm? I mean, I introduced her as a legend, and she's a living legend. Yeah. It's amazing just to even meet. I've never met you before. I've followed you, and it's really an honor, and that's not hyperbole. So to have someone like her in your corner, in the sport that you love, what's that like, and what's that done for your psyche?
It's incredible, honestly. It's not something I was ever expecting at the beginning of all of this, you know, like seeing just the amount of support I have from everybody, especially Mia, has been great. She's even come to visit me in the hospital. Like, she's more than a legend. She's like, once you get to know her, she's just like a friend there for you too.
And what have you learned from Zoe?
Without getting emotional, just how brave and resilient she is. I mean, here she is in the middle of another fight, and she is thinking of others and wanting to make a difference. And I think just the selflessness that is part of her heart and her core has brought us to where we are today to start this challenge, to celebrate Zoe's goal, to raise awareness and funds for pediatric cancer.
And lastly, and thank you for sharing that and the vulnerability that comes with that. The World Cup, we're days away, and what a great time to be able to amplify your message, because soccer is on the mind of so many people, but your message, goes well beyond that. What are your thoughts on why now is the right time?
I think now is the right time, especially with the World Cup coming up. I've seen people get connected through the World Cup, even people who didn't watch or play soccer before. So it's really just another way to connect everybody and everyone to have something to fight for and look forward to also. And it also rolls through to September, which is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Oh. And it's just great timing overall. And we're collabing with NWSL teams too, and it's just all it just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's tell people one more time how they can take part in the the More Than 4 challenge. Is there you do the hashtag?
You can do hashtag more than 4, hashtag Zoe's goal.
Okay.
And then juggle anything more than 4 times. It can be anything, any object. And then donate $4 on the Zoe's Goal Foundation. And nominate 4 people, and then just tag them all.
Can you give the website and or the social media handle?
The social media, yes. The Instagram is Zoe's_goal, and it's in our bio. The link is in our bio.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want people to know they could also donate more than $4.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But just thank you for having us here today,
absolutely.
and thank you for everyone that's participated and who's excited to continue.
Are you going to the World Cup?
I don't know yet. We'll see. Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay. I think you are.
I will be there.
Yeah, you will be there too. Okay, that's amazing. All right, you two. Well, thank you so much, and obviously, best of luck on.
Thank you so much.
On your fight. You're a warrior. You got this. You got this for sure. And thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's send things upstairs to Skyfox right now for live look over Newport Beach, the coastline, because there is a high surf advisory. I believe that's the deal. And rip currents, they can be deadly. Stu Mandel, what do we know?
Hey, Mara, you know what? This is becoming a thing, isn't it? This is I'm enjoying it.
Yes, part of the stream. We appreciate it.
It is always a pleasure. It is, we are in Newport Beach. I kind of lost you there for a second, but now you're back. Newport Beach, we're at the Wedge. I like to call it the Wedgie, and it is definitely popping today. And I did hear you talk about the rip currents. We're definitely going to talk about that as well, because Jeff flying Skyfox today, we saw a lot of them down there, and these are some of the lifeguards that basically told people they need to get out of the water for a little bit, because there were some major ones right here at the Wedge. They're kind of just dissipating a little bit, but you can still make out what they were. There's one right there. There was another one that was being kind of pushed over to the shoreline. They also have that lifeguard boat out here as well. Now, there's a lot of surfing going on, probably a lot of disappointed surfers right now because they were pushing them out of the water. Is that the lifeguard boat? That is not the lifeguard boat. That's something else. But they did have a lifeguard boat out here just moments ago. We did get a little bit of a note, and they said, hey, go check out the guys that are surfing actually in the inlet. I didn't even think that was possible, but definitely out here, and there are definitely some waves. Now, to recreate what we saw earlier on, probably not going to happen, but somebody over here picked up a really great wave, and I'm telling you, honestly, I should have thought about it, hit a timer. This guy was going for almost, I would say, close to a minute, Jeff? Close to a minute on a wave ride right here, running right up next to those rocks. It was pretty impressive indeed. Again, this is all happening in the Newport Beach area. They had some flooding down in Laguna. That's what brought us back out here. That flooding has receded. But right now, though, still a lot of really great waves, a lot of spectators on the beach. And as Jeff said, there's somebody on a wave down there. Let's go find him. There he is, there he is, there he is. And there he goes. Check that out, Marla. Pretty nifty, huh?
Have you surfed before, Stu?
I just can't. I did the skateboarding for a little bit, but somehow, I am a great swimmer. I love the ocean, but just could not get it. I just couldn't pick it up.
It's tough. I've taken one surf lesson. I know, and I digress, but yeah, it's amazing to see those athletes out there like that. Hey, you can say, yeah, you surf the skies every single day, Stu. That's what you do.
Well, you surf the airwaves. How
That's
about
right.
that one?
Oh, gosh, we're so cheesy here. I love it. All right, Stu, thank you so much for that. And the stream continues in 2 minutes. We'll see you then. It is 12:35, and we welcome you back to the Fox Local Stream. I'm Marla Tejas in the studios here in Los Angeles at Fox 11. Pride was a big deal in West Hollywood over the weekend. Of course, June is Pride Month. It is a big deal all month long, and arguably, of course, all year long. West Hollywood welcomed its newest nightclub over Pride weekend, and you might have walked past or even already gone inside yourself if you're local, of course. It's called SweetWater, and the owner is here with me now, Bernie Gambino. Great name, by the way. Great name. And congrats on Pride weekend in West Hollywood and the opening. It was a soft opening?
Yes. I wanted to open, I knew I had to open at least just for Pride. We have a lot more decorating to do, a lot more finishing touches. But we wanted to open the door so people can come in and enjoy.
How'd it go?
It was an experience.
A good one?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
I am beyond blessed and grateful and honored that I was able to do that.
Oh, yeah, because this has been quite the journe to get SweetWater to reality, to fruition, right? So let's talk
2.5 years.
2.5 years that you've gone through this to build SweetWater. You combined two businesses.
Yes.
Talk about that and what is the theme of SweetWater?
It was two spaces combined into one. It used to be Z Pizza and 8-ounce Poke. And I was able to get both spaces and combine it into one. The landlord allowed me to do that. So I think the theme would be, there's a water flow to it, but it's very sapphic central, very women centered, very sexy, sensuous, provocative. It didn't show that so much over the weekend because we haven't finished decorating. But that is what the theme is. We have a big screen, we have a DJ booth, we have dancing, we have cocktails. It's awesome.
No food.
No food.
I saw that.
There's no food.
But plenty of cocktails.
However, we are partnering with local businesses like Fiesta Cantina and Drip and Dolce to bring bites in because Saturdays and Sundays we're going to have daytime entertainment. And you can't have people come in without something for them to nosh on.
Especially if you're going to be drinking, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, it was your birthday over the weekend. I mean, what a weekend it was.
It was, yes.
Well, yesterday was your official birthday.
Yesterday was my official birthday.
So I know they surprised you.
They
it looked
did.
like it anyway on social
Yes.
during your soft launch. And this is quite the turnout.
It was very crowded. I was shocked. I was beyond shocked.
Why?
I don't think I realized, because it was such a long process to get here, I don't think I imagined. I kind of knew that it was going to be successful. I think this is going to be a great place, a great space for people to come. But I couldn't fathom the amount of people that would come, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and this is it fair to describe it as, it's a lesbian bar,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And in reading about it and the history and the evolution of it, this is important for you because basically WeHo, you say, is more of a boys' town?
It is a boys' town.
Okay, it is.
So
you're
without a
trying
doubt.
to sort of wedge your way in there and say, hey, we're here too.
Yeah, there were bars previously in West Hollywood that were women-centered, but they've faded. So hopefully this will bring that back. Women have had opportunities to have nights, like single nights at different venues, but not a place that was dedicated to them.
Why is this important?
Because I think it's about inclusivity. I think it's about community, and I think it's about not just lesbians, but bringing the entire LGBTQ community. But for lesbians to say, I have a place to go. I don't always have to go all the way to Silver Lake or all the way to Long Beach or all the way wherever there are other lesbian bars, which there aren't. I think there's only like 35 or 38 nationwide.
Wow.
Very small group. And hopefully this will create a legacy and more to come.
Your background is interesting because you came from the LA. Look at that face. I hope you got that on camera. Your LA County Sheriff's Department?
Yes, I am retired police officer.
Well, thank you for your
I appreciate
protection
that.
and service.
I appreciate
I mean,
that.
that's really, really important. So you go from that to a business owner in WeHo. Did you ever, I mean, was this on your bingo card when you retired?
No, when I retired in 2015.
Okay.
And
so it's
I retired medically for medical reasons. And I connected with your former guest for the same reasons. So
okay. Well,
it was cool. It's very cool to connect with her.
oh, good. I'm glad.
But I retired for medical reasons. I was a private investigator for a long time. I still am. And then I had an idea, and everybody thought I was crazy. You know, you're retired. Why are you doing that? I don't know.
Why not?
Why not?
That's the better question.
I am an entertainer by heart, and in my heart, I love to make people laugh. I love to make people smile. I love to bring joy. And if this does that, even for a little while, then I've accomplished my goal.
Well, I think you've already accomplished your goal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, by the looks of it, you really did. So there is an official grand opening that's happening this month.
This month, yeah. I'm going to do a friends and family, where I'll invite my friends, my family, and it'll be a private party to have them see the space completed. And then probably within 2 to 3 days after that, we'll have the grand opening.
When we're looking at these images, again, it not necessarily surprising how big it is, but you have to just keep in mind you took 2 business spaces and you put it into one.
Right.
And I forgot the square footage.
It's not that big. It looks big from the outside, but it's really not.
Oh, okay. But
It's
nonetheless, I mean, and here's part of your process.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, does this take you back?
It was a long, yes.
Wow, you gutted it, and then now to see what, the party that happened over the weekend.
It was a long, arduous process, and the gratefulness that I have for the team that helped create this is just, I'm beyond grateful.
Right, so there's karaoke.
We will have karaoke.
Okay.
There are things that I haven't announced yet. It was one of those things, I think I can announce it here. We'll just make a national announcement. Why not?
Well, let's do it. We like to break news on the stream.
You saw the big beams. So I'm going to bring a little bit of Cirque du Soleil, where there's rings and fabric, where we can do shows involving that. Along with there's what's called a moving pole, but more in an artistic, more artistically, not just naked women stripping. Yeah. No, it's more artistically geared.
Okay.
We're going to do live entertainment on Sundays. In fact, Thelma and Louise will be performing on Sunday at SweetWater this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday, live entertainment. And I want to create a space where my people, and I use that term loosely, people like me, let me put it that way.
Okay.
The lesbian community and women who are entertainers, artists, and they have this ability, but they just don't have the forum or the space to do it. And I want to be able to showcase people who can create the vision or the ability to bring joy and happiness and fun, and have them come and play and just like everybody just have a good time.
Well, it seems like you're living your dream now. I'm sorry about your health.
I don't know about dreaming because I don't sleep, but other than that,
you're a worker. You're a worker.
It's been quite the journey.
It means you're healthy too. So good for you.
Yeah, I am.
Are you?
I don't think you want to know. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
It's not that.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations on SweetWater.
I do have to say I'm so honored and grateful to be here, and I am like just grateful that you were able to give me this space and to talk about SweetWater, and I really am grateful to you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy
do.
that you were able to come in, especially, and not join us just via Zoom.
Oh.
That would have been an option too. So she is Bernie Gambino. Go check out her spot, SweetWater in West Hollywood, and we look forward to the announcement of the grand opening.
Yes.
You can follow it along on social media too.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll be right back. We'll see you back here in 2 minutes. All right, we're just rolling along here on the Fox Local Stream, and we appreciate you being with us. I'm Marla Tejas in the studios in Los Angeles at Fox 11. We want to give you a live look and get you up to speed with the situation that's unfolding at Los Angeles Stadium. This is 3 days until the first World Cup game at LA Stadium. FIFA World Cup does not want us to say SoFi during this time. They don't want the sponsorship. So this is our great shot from our camera at COSM at that live look at LA Stadium. And just a couple of hours ago, the venue workers who authorized a strike, they have just announced they reached a tentative agreement. Those details are to be announced tomorrow. And you may recall that 2,000 workers on Friday overwhelmingly authorized a strike, 96% of them voting to authorize that strike over higher wages and better working conditions and protections. And so now they have come up with a tentative agreement. So we're looking forward to getting those details. And we will, of course, provide those as soon as they are announced. Okay, let's talk more about the World Cup and lodging, where you're going to stay. It's no secret that many hotels across the country and here in LA have set massive price hikes during the World Cup, which is just, of course, days away. But there are other lodging options out there. Joining me now via Zoom is RV Share travel expert Maddie. And Maddie, will you say your last name for me?
Bourgeois. Thanks for having me.
Okay, absolutely, Maddie. Thank you so much for being with us. So not just hotels. What is your pitch? What does this look like if you're going to go to the World Cup? What does lodging look like?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, prices of hotels are up almost 55% for World Cup stays, and that's a huge price hike. And although the industry isn't seeing the demand that was expected, I think there will still be some late-breaking demand when it comes to World Cup travel. And for those that are still looking for places to stay, maybe at a fraction of that price, I'd recommend, looking into alternative lodging. And one of those could be renting an RV. There's a ton of great places outside of LA proper that have campgrounds that you can actually get an RV delivered to and set up for you through a company called RVshare.com.
Okay, RVshare.com. Can you break this down for us and sort of put this into a real world example of a 1 week trip, what that would look like?
Absolutely. So, RVs are already a great accommodation option for international travelers, especially for a World Cup of this size. A lot of people are going to be looking to not only explore LA, but maybe make it a week or 2 week trip and even road trip to the next spot to see another game, whether that's up to San Francisco, Seattle, etc. So RVs would be a great option to hit the road and travel in that fashion. Also, a great alternative is to get that RV delivered and set up for you. And the average cost of RV for a week is about $2,000, which would be a fraction of staying in a hotel, one of the major cities hosting the World Cup during this time.
Yeah, because I'm seeing some numbers here that show hotels $180 to $300 per night on average. I would assume that it'd even be more than $300 a night in Los Angeles.
Yes, absolutely. And I know a lot of travelers are looking outside of, downtown. They're really looking to see other parts of California that they can stay at. I think, whether that's Orange County or and really experiencing more that Los Angeles has to offer during their stay. And traffic will be a huge part of this, as well as there's so many people coming to the city for this event. So definitely comparing the total cost of travel, if you have to rent a car, what it'll take to cost to get to the stadium, and really comparing all of those options is how you're going to find the best price.
Yeah, are LA visitors likely to stay outside the city center, though, given everything you've said?
I definitely think people will be staying outside the city center, and we'll definitely see people who are exploring different parts of LA. LA has a lot of different neighborhoods and experiences to offer. And I think those international travels especially will want to get the full California experience.
Yeah. Why is flexibility so important for World Cup travelers? I mean, that may seem obvious, but I just want you, this is your lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest challenge with the World Cup is just that uncertainty. Fans often don't know exactly where their team will play next. So flexible accommodations are becoming incredibly valuable for the World Cup, and travelers increasingly want accommodations with flexible cancellation policies. So a lot of people is probably why that demand isn't being seen really well right now, and we could see that late breaking demand come in here in the next few days ahead of the first couple of games and or the playoffs that will also be hosted in LA. So people are kind of waiting to book last minute or looking for that flexibility in those policies.
I was going to say, I haven't actually checked the hotel prices. Are we already seeing them surge in a host city like LA?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We're about 55% above average prices last year, which is a huge jump.
And what about vacancy? Do we know anything about vacancy right now?
There is still a lot of vacancy. Like I said, occupancy rates are not at where the industry thought they would be. We are seeing a huge jump in alternative accommodations like vacation rentals. That's up about 15 to 20% year on year. So I think people are opting for vacation rentals, and it most likely is because of a price point.
What about this idea of turning the World Cup visit into more of a road trip? Like if you're going to go to Southern California to go to LA Stadium to watch a game, why not make just the most of it and turn it into more of a bigger vacation?
Yeah, I absolutely think we'll see people doing that. Like I said, especially international travelers looking to, visit a couple of the World Cup stadium stops. So that would include LA, San Francisco, Seattle, and really experience kind of all that the West Coast has to offer.
Did I miss anything, Maddie? Anything else you'd like to add?
My final tips would just be, for those traveling to LA to look beyond downtown LA and Inglewood, where the stadium is, compare those total trip costs and not just room rates, and consider alternative stays. Renting an RV might be your best option and provide you more flexibility than you might think.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the RV route, but I mean, you make a good argument for it. She is Maddie Bourgeray. She is RV share travel expert, and we thank you for being with us. Where are you based, by the way?
I'm based in Indianapolis.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for helping us plan our World Cup travel. Thank you, Maddie.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, she's in Indianapolis. Let's give you a live look of New York City. Why not, right? Yes, there we go. This is, I believe this is Times Square. Is this Times Square? This is Times Square. Yep, this is Times Square. And why are we showing you this? Did you watch Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night? I happened to catch the end of it. It came down to the wire, and the big question was, were the Knicks going to go up 3-0? No, the Spurs, they hung on, and they, again, on the road, they beat the Knicks last night. So Game 4 is expected to be a huge game tomorrow night. Tip-off is at 5:30. Again, this will be in New York City. Final score last night, by the way, was 115 to 111. And it's played at Madison Square Garden. More on the Fox Local stream in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. We want to get you caught up on some breaking news that just happened out of the state of Texas. This is a case that garnered national attention. A Texas teenager who fatally stabbed a 17-year-old track athlete from a rival team during a meet. This was in April of 2025. Was convicted of murder in a trial that drew national attention far beyond the booming Dallas suburb where the two students attended different high schools. A jury today rejected Carmelo Anthony's claims of self-defense during a confrontation with Austin Metcalf in the stadium's bleachers last year. Again, this was in April. Anthony, now 19, did not testify. Most who did were students who described a heated exchange over him refusing to leave a tent belonging to Metcalf's team during a rainy competition. Anthony faces up to life in prison upon sentencing, and this is a couple of different live perspectives from the courthouses. All went down in McKinney, Texas, the actual trial itself. So you see law enforcement, sheriff's deputies on scene, and then the crowd that has gathered after Carmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder. This gained a whole lot of traction nationally. Mainly, it took off on social media at first. A lot of this hinged on the fact that some made it a race issue. Carmelo Anthony, black, Austin Metcalf, who was killed, white. Ultimately, this did not come down to a race issue as far as I've seen on reporting from online sources. But nonetheless, this is the outcome there. He will be sentenced, and we will continue to follow it. You can hear, and we're getting word of at least dozens and dozens, if not more than 100 people have gathered outside the courthouse after Carmelo Anthony was found guilty. All right, we're going to continue to watch this, and we're going to send you off to Live Now for more of this coverage on this case, again, out of McKinney, Texas. And that coverage continues now on Live Now. I'm Marla Tejas in Los Angeles at Fox 11. Thank you so much for being with us this last hour.